Probably the "If You're Not Here for the Mountain, You're Not Here" campaign. That was the one that we did right before we added the water park. So we were still positioning ourselves as, you know, this sort of Spartan ski and snowboard experience where you could come up and do that and little else. I don't know. I've never really thought about it that in those terms. I don't think. I think it was appropriate for the brand that we were trying to strengthen at the time, and that was really the first campaign where we started to migrate away from telling the world that we had nothing but skiing here, and started to more closely focus on the values that Jay Peak guests share. So that notion of being raised Jay, and that there's an element to being raised Jay that we think is different than what you see at other ski areas and ski resorts. There's something different about the guest that comes here, and we try to pull that out. Jay Peak specifically, I think the best perk is probably having the freedom to market the place like I see fit, and like my team sees fit. That's probably the biggest perk. You know, I've worked at enough other ski resorts, so I understand the flexibility that exists here. I've got a lot, you know, and part of it is, most of it is because of, you know, Bill Stenger and his marketing background. But I think a lot of it too has to do with, you know, the job that our team has done here and growing skier visits and growing revenue. You piss them off. There's some people that are pre-inclined to be pissed off about everything, which, you know, you see everywhere. But there's God bless them, there's a high index of those people here. But you know, I mean, you try to avoid that when you go out with a campaign. But I think you just try to present who we are in the most honest light that we can. And anything, like I said before, anything that we do bring into the mix, we try to have enough of an eye on the past, so that we're giving a nod to our history. And that, when we do that, we tend to see our past and our longtime guests sort of get it. You know, people were pissed off and bitching and moaning about the water park before we even built it, and now that we've brought it on, we hear from a lot of season pass holders that say, and a lot of old-time Jay Peakers that say, you know what, it's not half as bad as I expected. Same thing with the Stateside Base Lodge. You know, people were freaked out when we were gonna knock that shithole down, and their fear isn't buildings, and it's not, you know, it's not bathrooms or any of that stuff. I think it's just more, it's change, and it's, you know, they've grown up in this place, well, certainly a lot longer than I've been here, and it's their fears, their concerns are justified in that, you know, a big part of their history is going to be paved over. But I think once they realize that we're including their history in everything that we do to go forward, they stop freaking out as much, as most of them do. I mean, there's lots of people in the industry, and there's lots of people from my past who I talk to, but I'd say more than anybody, my wife. She's a good barometer for what's good and what sucks, and she's definitely not afraid to tell me when something sucks. And there's a lot of people around here that may not say what they really feel all the time, but there's no threat of her holding back. Giving all the profit centers the marketing and sales support that they need and deserve. You know, by default, we look at ski and water park and food very quickly as needing support because they throw the biggest profit. We take the most to the bottom line. But things like the Nordic Center, which doesn't get a lot of love, but is awesome here, maybe doesn't get the attention that it should. You know, ice hockey, because we have, you know, 50 weeks of tournaments and it's already sold, doesn't get the attention that it should. You know, things like that. I probably skied it this morning. I think it was River Kwai, when it has a foot of new snow on it like it did today. It's pretty good. Although I used to work out in Breckenridge in Imperial Bowl out there, which is now lift service, but that was pretty fun too. Well, for, you know, there's for me personally, I sort of enjoy the type of skiing that's here in the East. I think that, you know, the there's still an authenticity about what exists here at a lot of resorts, even the bigger resorts. There's that piece of old school and old world skiing that still exists that I enjoy, and I like the variability of the conditions. You know, not that I wouldn't enjoy skiing when I skied this morning every day, but you know, you tend to enjoy this quite a bit more when you know it's not going to be around every day. I would say it's up to the victim. You can do whatever you want. It's fine with me as long as you're buying a lift ticket. I would say 10. I like social media. It's not. I don't think it. I think it's we've peaked, and it's not hip to, which speaks to the hipster problem. But I don't think it's hip to enjoy it anymore. I think it's hip to bash it. But I have to say that I love it. There's so many people that I connect with that I would have never stayed connected with, which is always the right answer for why you love social media. But really, I just like talking with my friends in that space.